What's going on, Mutha Truckers? Welcome to Mutha Trucker News. Email us at muthatruckernews@gmail.com. You know, I wanted to give you guys some value today, right? Take this however way you want. But one of the wealthiest people in the world, I mean, in trucking logistics, right, is Brad Jacobs. You know, Google says his net worth is $3.7 billion. The man started with $5,000. If you are an entrepreneur, you're trying to make it in trucking, you know, I got a chance to be at F3 and ask him a question and actually even take a picture with him with the Mutha Trucker hat on. Just, you know, that's it. And just picked his brain a little bit. And so for anyone that wants to be an entrepreneur at all, you know, understanding how a billionaire thinks, it might help inspire you to get you to the next level. So I wanted to give you something very positive today. So yeah, here's today's episode. Hopefully you get some out of it, but I was super motivated and I thought it was awesome. And I asked him the first question.
What I'd like to do is have you set the agenda, have you ask the questions. There's no question that's off limits. Ask about anything whatsoever on any subject, and I'll try my best to answer it. Who's going to break the ice and ask the first question? I guess there's a mic there, and there's a mic. Where's the second mic? Up there. Okay. You can ask it. I'll repeat it. Go ahead.
All right. So my name's Alex, and I represent Mutha Trucker News and all the truck drivers in America. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on that, but okay.
Yeah, I represent all the truck drivers in America. They all watch me on social media. And so as a truck driver myself and a person that's just come from nothing, if you come from nothing, can you still read your book, How to Make a Few Billions? And is it actually possible for a person that comes from nothing to get to $1 billion?
For those who couldn't hear him in the back, there's a question from a trucker. Let's have a big round of applause for truckers.
Yeah.
And the question was, if you come from, his words, nothing, which I'm going to dispute that, but okay, I'm just repeating the question. Can you still make a few $1 billion? The odds are against anybody making a few $1 billion because only a tiny percent of people make a few $1 billion. But you don't have to make a few $1 billion. That was a provocative title. You can make a much smaller amount of money and still be a hero to your family and your grandkids and do enjoy life and be able to retire early or whatever you want to do. So the book will help. The book, what I put in the book was everything I know about making money. I don't know anything else. Someone asked me, you're going to do another book, you're going to do a sequel. I said, I don't have anything else. That's it. I read everything in that book. I'm out of things. And so yeah, the book can help you, not necessarily make a few billion, but make whatever you want to make, whatever your goal is. It's also not just about money, because money is money, and it's interesting, but it's not the whole story. It's about how do you accomplish big stuff in life? How do you think big? How do you get out of your rut of just thinking the same old, and go for it? And then how do you execute on that? So how do you make your mind expansive and big and dream really big goals and have the courage to go after that and be bold? And then what are some practical steps that you can do to create an organization that will be likely to materialize them? The first company I did, I had no investors. It was just us, we bootstrapped it. We never took outside capital for $1. And I started it with my bar mitzvah money, which was $5,000. I cashed in my Israeli bonds, and I took the $5,000. That helped pay for the phones and working capital and to pay salaries and rent and so forth. And then we were positive cash flow, boom, 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 right from the beginning. It was a brokerage business. So we had very little overhead, and we were 100% commission. So people were real hungry, and we just started. We were in the right place at the right time. This was 1979, and Iran had just gone through a transition from the Shah to Khomeini, and they kidnapped 400 of our, that's kidnapped, there you go, so history repeats itself. They kidnapped 400 Americans from the embassy in Tehran, and the oil markets went nuts. So little guys like us, who were in our early 20s, were actually able to get our phone calls taken in return from Exxon and Mobil and Texaco and Chevron, and we went out there and hustled. And so we didn't really take any outside capital. We didn't need it. Now, the next company I started, which was an oil trading company, not brokerage, but as a principal, where we were taking title, actually buying and selling and chartering ships and so forth. There we needed outside capital, but we didn't take any equity. I did that all with debt. A guy who actually introduced me to my wife subsequently, a guy called Christian Weyer, was the president of Paribas at the time, and he gave me $1 billion line of credit. And I put up a relatively small amount of money compared to $1 billion, but he had confidence in me and he structured the deals in a way that the bank was fairly collateralized in the oil. So I never took any outside equity investors from there. Now, United Waste was the first company I took public, and I started it in '89, and we IPO'd it in '92. That was a whole new world for me. I knew nothing about the public markets. I knew nothing about Wall Street at all. I never took a finance course, never took an accounting course, never took any economics. I don't know, it was a whole new thing for me. But I got into it really fast. I just started meeting people and talking to people and told them what I was doing and how we were going to make money. And if you have an idea in a business that really will make money, there's money out there. I mean, there's trillions of dollars out there. I mean, there's trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. I'm not exaggerating. There's more money out there than there are ideas and businesses to invest in, which is why the stock market, despite all the craziness in the world right now, still stubbornly doesn't go down much.
Question for you. So my name's Jason, and I have both an asset and a brokerage company. And my parents started.
Me too, by the way.
You know, my parents started it. I took over in 2010, which is probably one of the worst times to get into the industry. But over the last 5 years, we've grown at our smallest was 400% year over year. It's been 500. 2 years ago was 1,600%, and I'm very proud of what we've done. But I have my fear is I see businesses all the time scale very rapidly, and I see the vast majority of them fail. And so although we continue to do well, and even in this market, we've actually had a pretty good year, something I'm very proud of and excited about. I mean, I seem to go to bed with that fear. I wake up with that fear, is failure. And so someone who has scaled multiple businesses, done that time and time again, I know there's a lot of variables. I know there's a lot of different, scenarios. But what is the one thing that you've seen between successful companies that have done it and then the thing that you've seen with companies that have not done it successfully?
Two things. First of all, congratulations on your success. This is America. God bless them.
Yeah.
Really, really, just so happy to see people doing that. It's fantastic. So a couple things. One is you mentioned going to bed at night and having the fear of failure. That's a good thing. It's good to have that anxiety. It's good to not to feel I'm invincible, I'm definitely going to succeed, because you're not always. There's going to be setbacks, there's going to be bad years, there's going to be people let you down, or text, whatever. There's going to be problems along the way. So that fear, that looking for things, that vigilance for problems coming up, it's actually your friend. So that's probably one of the reasons you're successful is you're thinking about what could go wrong and then dealing with that proactively. Second thing is the more important part of your question was about how do you scale up and not blow up? And that is the challenge, because as you grow, you're adding new people, you're adding new systems, you're adding new locations, you're adding new customers, you're adding new vendors, and you want to keep the quality up. If you don't keep the quality up on all those things, you're not going to succeed. You're not going to please your customers, and they're not going to send you money and use your services. So my approach to that has always started with the people. I've had a huge emphasis on the people, and making sure that I'm really careful who I bring into the company. They got to be super honest. They got to be really hardworking and have fire in their belly and really hungry to really work hard and really want to succeed. They got to get along with other people. They got to be humble people that can be collegial and collaborative with other folks. And they have to have integrity. They have to have lots of integrity. They have to be substantive people. Even if whatever the job is, whether it's the receptionist, whether it's a COO or CFO, anybody, they just have to be good people. They'd be people that you really enjoy, you really respect, you admire, that you want to spend time with, that you feel you're getting the long end of the stick, bringing them into the organization. I've always tried to hire people who are smarter than me, and I have for the most part. And I've always tried to hire people who are super, super honest, because you can't be always looking over your shoulder at your own teammates. I mean, your teammates have to be a team. There's that cliche, and I use it all the time. Teamwork makes the dream work. And your team is everything, because things can change and problems can happen. But if you've got a great team that has those qualities I just mentioned, and you all like each other, and you all have each other's back, and you're all a group, you're a tribe, you're a gang, you're one, you can accomplish so much stuff. You can't accomplish anything by yourself. I'm sure I'm not telling you anything you don't know. You would have had that success if you didn't know that. I want to share that with everybody, that the importance of the people, getting the right people, the right culture with those people, respectfully, and have a culture where people are encouraged to disagree respectfully, not disagree like a bully or name calling or labeling, all that kind of nonsense. That's toxic. But being free and actually encouraged to present different ways of looking at situations, so you get to the right answer. So you identify problems, people speak up when they see problems, and you come up with different ways to solve it, and you get to the right solution to it. It's all about the people in the end. That's my opinion.
Hey Brad, I'm Justin. Quick question for you, I guess. What's an example of something that either didn't go well or a failure in business, and what sort of lessons did you learn from that? Thanks.
So in the book, I do talk about failures as much as successes. And I talk about how in some ways you learn more from the failures than you do from the successes. And it causes reflection, it causes humbleness and humility, which are all important traits to have to be successful. And I talk about one of the biggest mistakes I ever made, which was when I was at United Rentals. I foolishly and naively thought that the government was going to actually follow through with this T21 bill, the Transportation Equity Act for the 21st Century bill. You may remember this is 1999, I think, where they were going to spend what at the time was a lot of money. Today, it's not even $1 trillion, but $600 billion to repair the infrastructure, the roads, the bridges, the tunnels. So I went out, I bought like a half a dozen liters in barricades and cones and striping and all that orange stuff on the highway, waiting for this $600 billion to get spent. And it turns out then they spent like $200 billion, and a lot of it went to enterprises that we didn't qualify for. And I ended up reselling those businesses for a loss of $500 million. I actually lost $500 million. So, if you're going to measure your failures and successes by money, it's not the only way to measure them, but if you are, that was a pretty big whopper. That was a pretty big failure. But you gotta keep swinging. You're not gonna hit them all. You're gonna hit some foul balls, but you gotta keep swinging. You just gotta keep going and going and going and get up again every time you fall down. I was not happy when that didn't work out, but it's okay. Life went on.
Looking at different, whether it's business ideas or businesses to acquire, how you go about assessing, because I'm sure you have a lot of smart people surrounded by you with inundated with a lot of information. So how do you sort of filter that in your own kind of mind?
I get a lot of opinions from a lot of people whose opinions I respect, and then I let go of that, and I make my own decision. I can't go by the consensus all the time, because you're not going to do extraordinary stuff if you go by the consensus. But I do listen very, very carefully to the voices of the people that I've surrounded myself with, who I respect, who know a lot more about certain parts of the business than I do. And I want to hear what they have to say for themselves. But at the end of the day, you got to search your intuition, you got to search your gut, and you got to have confidence in yourself. You have to have confidence. You got to figure out some way to get into that quiet zone and just think about, try to picture what's going to happen if I do this. If I buy this company, is this going to work out, or is it going to be a disaster? And I kind of picture it. I see it in my mind, what it's going to be. And if it doesn't look good, I don't do it. And if it looks great, I do it. So at the end of the day, it's about what does my instinct tell me? How's this going to go? But it's not just woo-woo. I do listen to the people who are experts. And I have I'm not a real, people call me a numbers guy. I'm not a numbers guy. I'm really not a numbers guy. I have fantastic numbers people around me who can slice and dice the numbers in 1,000 different ways. Opportunity? Yeah. There is a large degree of randomness in life. I agree with that. I guess you could call that luck. Where you're born is lucky. And if you're born in certain places, you got bad luck. It's going to be real tough if you're born in Zimbabwe to really succeed. You're likely to being born there to live a shorter life and to get sicker and not get a great education and not be as comfortable. And it's just luck. You happen to be born in Zimbabwe. And there's other luck in life. I had a lot of luck, a real lot of luck. I got in the oil business, and the oil business went crazy. I got in the garbage business, and there were all these regulations passed that got rid of all the small dumps, and the big ones really succeeded. I got in the rental business, and all these people, all the customers started renting equipment instead of buying equipment. So I had a lot of luck. There's been a lot of luck there. We built up the XPO organizations in a time when there was global synchronized growth all around the world, where there were almost no interest rates. You get money for free almost on borrowing, where there was just a really good time to make money. It was hard not to make money during that time. So I've had a lot of luck. But I don't think luck is the main thing that determines whether you're going to be successful or not. And I certainly don't think luck has almost any influence on whether you're going to be happy or not. And happiness is, I think, more important than being rich. And I think it's more of a, so the facts are the facts, the circumstances are the circumstances, the world is as it is. You got to radically accept that. You got to just, you can't be like, you see people, they're always complaining and whining about this, and they're a victim of this, and this is unfair, and this is like, just chill. Like, it is what it is. Like, it's not going to be perfect. It never has been perfect. It's never going to be perfect. Just embrace that. That's okay. Find ways in that imperfection that are actually cool, and ways that you can be happy, ways that you can, if your goal is to make money, make money. So I think luck does help a lot, but I don't think it's the prime factor. I think the prime factor is skill. Well, you said skill and opportunity. Yeah. So opportunity, you got to take the opportunity. A lot of people get opportunities and they're scared. They're just too scared. They're frightened to take the risk, and they don't take the opportunity. And so, yeah, I think I agree with that equation to some extent, but I don't think luck is the main thing in life.
Right on, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Brad. Junior at Freightwaves. I caught your session in 2019. Your Q&A was amazing. Thank you for doing another one today. It's somber times, though, for a lot of brokers. It's been a very, very tough market. It's been a long, sustained freight recession, one you could lose $1 billion in. But in your experience, how does this market right now compare to previous ones you've been in, and when do you think it improves?
Well, the brokerage market is a very cyclical market. There's good times and there's bad times. And the big mistake is when you're in the good part of the cycle, things are going to last forever. It's not. And if you overstaff and overinvest, and your leverage is too much when you come down, if you borrow too much money. And the same mistake is when it's down, to think, oh, it's always going to be down now. Time is different. It's not going to go back up. It is going to go back up. So we happen to be in a part of the brokerage cycle where it's hard to make money. It's very hard to make money. That's okay. That's part of the cycle. That's why it's a good business. It's not a flat business. The fact that it is volatile over the course of the years, that's why brokers exist. Brokers exist to fulfill the needs of shippers and of carriers because there's uncertainty. If it was really clear how to find a truck or how to find a load, no one would need brokers. So it's good that there's volatility there, and I think long term the prospects of brokerage are really strong, really strong. And in fact, the brokers that are kind of going out of business now and leaving the industry, that'll make, when the industry comes back, the remaining brokers much stronger. So I'm actually bullish on the long term of brokerage. Short term, it's tough. Thank you. And to add to that, I think on brokerage, it's going to all be about technology. I mean, when we started XPO back in 2011, there really wasn't a whole lot of technology. It was mainly just people talking on the phones. And today, I mean, look at RXO, which is the brokerage spin-off from XPO. It's 97% of their orders are either originated or covered electronically. I think that will go to almost 100%. And not 100% in either, but 100% in both. I think the ultimate situation in brokerage is going to be machine-to-machine communication with very little human intervention. And I think the volumes will be huge. And I think there'll be the same phenomenon that happened back in the oil business when I was in it, where a futures market developed, a derivatives market developed, and then there was a merging between those two. I think that's going to happen in freight brokerage as well. There'll be a Wall Street phenomenon where people will be able to buy phantom freight, so to speak, lock in rates and hedges, and Wall Street guys will do that, and then the physical markets will play off of that. So I think the brokerage market's going to be much bigger in due course, but it's going to be all AI based. I don't think there's going to be a lot of human involvement. I wouldn't have my kids say, when you have your kids get into brokerage, I think it's a good job. I think it's more of a technology play, I think, in the coming decades.
I agree.
Thank you. Sir.
Hey Brad, thank you. My name's Reed. Question, how do you celebrate your victories, and are gongs involved?
There's no gongs involved. I do celebrate victories for a very short period of time and then move on. I don't spend a whole lot of time patting myself on the back because I don't think that's a real good recipe for success. I think the biggest enemy for success...
You gotta do something. What do you do?
I jump up and down and say yay for about 10 minutes. And then move on.
Like your biggest win. Like what did you do? It does, I mean, what did you do?
I mean, maybe I'm on the spectrum or something because I don't get really. I don't get like that.
I love it.
I don't get really super down when we have problems, when things aren't great. I really don't. I get a little down, but really not perceptibly. And I don't get really up when we're winning something in business, because these things are just one of many, many things. It's not like one thing that changes the whole everything. So it's just one. And I think arrogance is your biggest enemy in making money. It's actually your biggest enemy in life, in relationships, and just enjoying life. Is just get full of yourself. Just think you're the. I mean, that's what does it say? Hubris right before the fall. There, but so I mean, it's not good to take yourself too seriously, because at the end of the day, we all die. So how seriously are you taking yourself then? I mean, the only thing that's for certain is every single person in this room, including me, we're going to be dead sooner or later. Probably not as later, it's decades, not long. I'm 67. My folks lived to 85 and 90, so let's say I lived 87. My wife keeps reminding me, we probably have 20 summer vacations left, Brad. And that's not a lot. So I take every day seriously, and I don't get bent out of shape when we succeed at something. I feel good about it, but I don't get extraordinarily self-congratulatory. What do you do?
I've got a...
Tell them!
Come on. So I was actually going to ask you if you wanted to sponsor my gong, but we can talk about that later.
Your gong or your bong? What do you
Yeah.
Funny you just mentioned that. Freightgong.com, you can check us out. But anyway, no, I have a software business. I was in the brokerage for a while and sell some hats. So I appreciate your response. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes.
Hey, Brad. My name is Josh Lyles. I'm the founder for Sales CRM for freight brokerages. I was curious about your just mindset, approach, or advice that you would have just from the earlier days when you were trying to build and develop relationships and trying to grow and scale your business. What advice would you have for that?
In order to do marketing or do sales, in order to get
sales, yeah, and just building and developing relationships in the early days when people didn't know who Brad Jacobs was.
A lot of people still don't know who Brad Jacobs is. I mean, you all do because you're from the same industry, but most of the world has no idea who I am, and they never will. I think getting penetration into the market is how you grow the business. So you have to figure out how to do that. You got to figure out how you're going to connect with. Well, first you have to figure out who you want to connect with. You have to identify who are the customers and who are the vendors and who are the employees that I want. And then that's a very, very important first step. And then you have to figure out, well, where are they? Because I got to meet with them there. And how do you meet with them physically? How do you meet with them over the internet? How do you just figure out where they are and how do you get to them? But I'm not a big marketing guy. I've really never had a marketing department at XPO. We had some people who dabbled in marketing, but we never had a chief marketing officer. We never had a marketing organization, because I came from a school of thought from my previous businesses that I saw some competitors do a lot of spending on marketing, and they didn't offer a good product or a good service, and their business didn't grow. So they were yakking about how great they were, but customers were using them and saying, I don't care what your advertising says, I'm going to use someone else. So I thought it was kind of a waste of money. Maybe I was a little too frugal on that. Should have spent a little more time. Should have spent a little more money on marketing. But I don't think I like to take the money that was going to go into the marketing budget and put that into customer service somehow, and then just market by word of mouth. If you have a great service, if you are solving problems for people, if you have customers and you're saving them money, if you have something in your service, your product, your technology that is taking waste or inefficiencies out of customers' supply chain, out of their business, and is making them money, they will find you. You don't have to find them. They will find you. If you have a great company, investors will find you. People are looking for that. If you have a lot of business going on, vendors will call you. So I don't think the emphasis should be on going out and trying to get people. I think that the emphasis should be on forming a situation where people want to get you. That's my philosophy there.
Okay, just quick follow-up. So your first, let's just say 5 customers. What did you do to earn your first 5 customers as business?
In business as a whole or in transportation?
Transportation.
In transportation, so I acquired them because I bought Express One. And I think a lot of them were pretty skeptical actually. They had no idea what it was. They were scratching their heads a little bit. But they gave me a chance. I mean, they weren't going to just fire me the first day. And as they saw after keeping doing the business for a few months, that we actually didn't mess it up, and we didn't make it worse, and we didn't do what a lot of private equity guys come in and do, and they cut all the costs, and suddenly the service goes down, and they disrespect the customer. We didn't do any of that. They kept doing business with us and gave us more business. We gained share of wallet. So that's why I like M&A. I like M&A because it's a shortcut to growth. Instead of it's actually more accretive to do it purely organically. Just bootstrap it like I did my first 2 companies and just go customer by customer. It takes a long time. If you want to get big, and I want to get big as I have and as I will in my next one, I got to do M&A. There's no fast way that I know of to grow, to scale business up to something that's tens of billions of dollars in size, other than M&A. M&A is like the cheat for me.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you, sir.
What was the main things that you focused on?
People was always the people. Second to people was technology. Close second. But people was always the most important thing. It's been a huge. So my office is right next to the CHRO's office, and we walk into each other's office like many times a day, talking about our people. Are we paying them right? Is their head in a good place? Are the employee surveys coming out right? Are the engagements going up? What problems do we have? How do we have retention? We're always about the people. Right after that is technology.